And so today we're moving beyond just the latest Spider-Man movie, and instead we're going to expand the scope of our inquiry and finally, once and for all, cancel Marvel itself. All Marvel movies. They're all canceled.
Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this installment of Reggie Reports, I'm going to take some time to examine some comments that have been put out there by a political commentator by the name of Matt Walsh. And as I thought about the things that Matt had to say, I think there's some good stuff, and I think that there's some bad stuff, and we are first going to maybe talk about some of the bad stuff. For those that haven't seen or heard any of this, Matt is a commentator on a platform called Daily Wire. And recently, he basically canceled all superhero movies from both Marvel and DC. But with that said, let's take a look at some of his comments.
There are no stakes. Okay, I don't mean S-T-E-A-K-S. There's nothing at stake. Okay, there's not a whiff of suspense or narrative tension with these movies because every problem is solved with either miraculous technology or superpowers. And okay, that part I get, it's a superhero movie, or literal magic now.
So I don't know if Matt just started watching franchise type movies, but generally speaking, you can almost always predict the outcome of a franchise movie. The good guys typically win. If you've ever watched anything from the Halloween franchise, you know what's going to happen. They're going to be campers, people are going to run, some folks are going to fall down, and everyone's going to die. You know that. If you're watching anything regarding like Nightmare on Elm Street, you know what's going to happen. Some people, students, are going to fall asleep and they're going to die. You know that. If you watched action movies back in the 80s, for example, and I think Matt probably did, you already knew what was going to happen anytime Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger were in a movie, right? They were going to kill everyone with a saw, a gun, a knife, or some kind of tool that they picked up, right? Like you already know what the outcome is going to be. They're not going to die. They're going to win, and everyone else is more than likely going to die. The question is how? That is what franchises are. Franchises have formulas, and everything that comes out from that franchise basically fits that formula. There are no stakes. So you shouldn't necessarily look at Marvel movies any differently than you would any other franchise.
First problem with superhero movies is that they're all exactly the same, and they exist primarily to sell merchandise.
So I don't know about the accuracy of this statement, and you guys can sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think. But in the video featuring Matt, they actually show a Spider-Man toy. So when I hear merchandise, I'm hearing them say toys. I don't think that that is the primary focus of these movies. Back in the day, Marvel released things like Transformers and G.I. Joe comic books in order to move toys, but I don't think that that's the primary focus of them releasing movies now. I think the focus is printing money. When you look at the data behind all of the movies that Marvel has released, they have generated billions of dollars in ticket sales, in digital sales, DVD sales, and then also streaming sales as well. I think that that is the primary focus. Secondarily, I think, yeah, there's a lot of money that comes from merchandising and deals that they work out with large companies out there. But with that said, let's go ahead and listen to another clip.
I have nothing against a fanciful tale about a man in a rubber suit fighting bad guys who, through approximately 20 million story arcs, still have not thought to simply walk up to their nemesis and shoot him directly in the face. Now, I'm no expert on the mythology of Marvel or DC, but I'm pretty sure a bullet to the face would dispatch almost all of the heroes in all of the universes.
I think it's great that Matt recognizes the limitations in his knowledge because he's not an expert. And if you are watching this channel, more than likely you know that that statement or a couple of those statements are inaccurate. It is not that simple. You can't just walk up to a superhero and shoot them in the face. He actually specifically calls out Spider-Man, saying it would be easy to shoot Spider-Man in the face. Well, if he didn't have, his spider sense that would warn him of the danger, but that's getting in the weeds. But this is not an accurate statement. And this to me sounds like a person that doesn't fully appreciate the source material, that does not appreciate that all of this stuff is fanciful, right? Superheroes win. Superheroes don't necessarily die. The bad guy is supposed to lose. The good guy is supposed to, at the last minute, come up with some kind of miraculous save. And maybe it is magic. Maybe it is superhuman strength. Maybe it is he or she digging deep and realizing that they do have that inner strength to overcome that bad guy. But there is some beauty sometimes in the story that is being told and what is actually being shown. And that is in the source material. And yes, it also plays out on the big screen as well. What's really funny about Matt Walsh is that he tells you in this video that he is going to stir the pot. He tells you that he is going to say some stuff that is going to get people upset.
One thing you know about me is that when people get upset about something that I say, that just encourages me to say it again, louder and longer. I have, as you know, the maturity of a 4-year-old.
As the video goes on, Matt actually makes, I think, some really great points. And what he highlights in a few different places is that the quality of MCU movies isn't where it should be. He says it very different than that, but I'm choosing to summarize it that way. And I think there are a lot of people that are probably watching this video right now that will agree with that. When you strip away some of the stuff that gets people upset, you probably agree with what Matt is actually saying. That the quality of the writing and the quality of the storytelling isn't where it should be. And that is something that should actually change. But Matt goes on to try to cancel all Marvel and DC movies, and I think that that's wrong. He cancels it for lots of different reasons, part of which is the quality. But what I would say is that this is not a problem just with Marvel and DC movies. It is a problem with Hollywood. Look at how many movies are coming out that are flopping. Movies that have these very big, bloated budgets that fail to perform. With where the economy is now, it is going to take a lot for people to reach in their pocket, pull out money, and pay for multiple tickets, popcorn, pop at the theater. Instead, they will wait for the movie to be taken from the theaters a month or so after it is released, and then they'll watch it at home on their streaming platform that maybe they signed up for free for a couple of days, and that's how they're going to do it. The challenge is that Hollywood needs to take a hard look at itself and recognize that the quality of the content that they are putting out right now isn't where it should be. It has to be improved. The budgets have to get a little smaller. The quality has to go up, especially during tough economic times. This is not, again, something that is solely on the shoulders of Marvel and DC, but they too need to take a hard look at themselves and ask, what does it take to get people out to theaters? What does it take to put cheeks in seats? If they slow down and ask those questions and put out good content, I have a feeling that people will actually show up. With that said, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts down in the comment section. If you want to reach out to me, you can do that on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yo, should you practice art? Or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it. Not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know? The one that's gonna be a master. The one that's more than a rapper. The one that's an educator. The one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts. He's got the mindset expansive. He understands that it's time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan. Straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms of pure souls having them conversations. Synergy and combinations. You fly and we waiting. Indian style in the gold.